Hello, kids. I'm here to talk to you about the First Amendment. That's right, the First Amendment. Man, what an important document it is. So, what is the First Amendment? Well, basically, it can be broken down into five basic parts. Those five basic parts are freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom to peacefully assemble, and freedom to petition. Well, let me explain to you the first part, which is freedom of speech. It states that people can say whatever they want to say, and the government can't do a thing about it. There is a limitation on this, though. One can't go around saying that they're going to kill a bunch of people or bomb the whole world. That would be an issue of national security, and it would affect the well being of other people, which is why the freedom of speech is limited by that. It's the reason why one can't say bomb on an airplane or yell fire in a movie theater. Also, for all the graffiti artists out there who think it is freedom of speech to draw on buildings, well, that's vandalism, so it's illegal. Other than that, you can say you hate the president, or you can say you hate America, and the government must allow that due to the First Amendment. The second part of the First Amendment is freedom of religion. Without this bit, your Hindu friend in class probably wouldn't be there right now. The freedom of religion is broken down into two basic parts, one of which is known as the Free Exercise Clause, which states that people may worship however they like. The limit on this part is that you can't do something illegal, such as going around doing blood sacrifices. Well, because that would be illegal. The second part of the freedom of religion is the Establishment Clause, which states that the United States government shall not make a national religion to keep the fairness to all religions. There is also the idea of separation of church and state, which says that the government won't deal with religious issues because they want to keep a neutral stand with all religions. The third part of the First Amendment is freedom of the press. This means the media has the right to collect information and tell it to the citizens as long as it's the truth. The whole idea behind this one is that people can speak out against the government and report what the government is doing to the people without getting into trouble. As long as it's not a lie or not a threat to national security, like publishing secret military plans, the media can publish it. The fourth part of the First Amendment is the right to petition. What it says is that people have the right to complain to the government and ask them to change their ways by legal and peaceful means. As long as it's peaceful and legal, one can ask the government to change anything, though it might not work. The fifth part of the First Amendment is the right to assemble peacefully. As long as you are peaceful and not rioting, you are allowed to gather together and demonstrate or protest something without getting into trouble. So, how much freedom does the First Amendment really give people? Well, it gives them quite a bit of freedom. Without the First Amendment, the newspapers wouldn't be allowed to tell you which government official was corrupt. Anyone who spoke out against the government would be eliminated, and it would cause an oppressive government. So, many people today probably wouldn't be in America if it weren't for the freedom of religion that allows them to be here today. The people have the power to change the government with the right to petition and to assemble to demonstrate a point. It really is a powerful amendment. There are two important court cases that deal with the First Amendment. One is the Skokie case, and the other is the Tinker case. The Skokie case dealt with a group known as the National Socialist Party of America, which wanted to parade through the mainly Jewish town of Skokie, Illinois, while wearing the swastika symbol. The freedom of speech and the right to assemble covered the socialist group, but the swastika was a hate symbol towards the Jewish people. However, the Illinois and U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the swastika wasn't a fighting word that was meant to start something, but rather a symbol that was protected under the freedom of speech. So the National Socialist Party of America was allowed to parade through Skokie, Illinois. The Tinker case dealt with three students who attended Des Moines School. During the Vietnam War, the student wanted to show support for peace by wearing black armbands to school. The school administration didn't like it and suspended the kids. The case was brought before the Supreme Court, which ruled that the students had a right to freedom of speech. Right now, there are debates over the First Amendment's meaning. With new technologies such as computers and cell phones, the First Amendment is being stretched to cover these forms of communications. However, some people want to censor these materials on the web. Then there are also some cases where freedom of speech and freedom of religion duke it out, like in the case where Alabama's courthouse displayed the Ten Commandments, which could be a violation of separation of church and state, but is being protected by freedom of speech. The freedom of religion has caused some school districts in the West to ban the Pledge of Allegiance due to the words "under God," since it would seem that the government was siding with Christianity. Also, in present times, one needs a permit to assemble in large masses. However, if a permit is denied to you, it would seem like they were denying the right to assemble, which is an argument that's being fought today. My prediction for the First Amendment is that in the future, the First Amendment will become further restricted due to national security rising from further acts of terrorism, such as 9/11. Also, with new technology, more and more people want to censor the web for cyberbullying and the such. There have been cases where people sued over someone saying Merry Christmas due to the freedom of religion. Stuff like that will limit the freedom of speech in the near future.